Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Ceylon Lover. So back when we were all able to travel, remember when we could just catch a flight and go to any destination we wish? Well, last year I had the pleasure of visiting Port de Soler, where I enjoyed the most gorgeous paella. I honestly can't think of anybody that doesn't love paella. It hails from Valencia, Spain. It has a plethora of spices and you're cooking it with stock and Chardonnay. Well, you should be cooking it with Chardonnay unless your chef, like me, drinks it all.
The standout ingredient here is of course the Bomba rice, which soaks up the wine and the stock just perfectly, while the saffron and my addition of Sri Lankan herbs and spice gives it that extra kick of flavor.
Today I've chosen mussels. Here we have tiger and king prawns, and also beautiful scallops and squid. First thing I like to do is marinate the seafood from the onset. I feel like it has that gradation of flavor as we go. The marinade is super simple, an even mixture of salt and pepper, fresh lemon juice, and olive oil. So we have our paella rice. It's important to note, do not wash that. The starch actually helps bind all of the ingredients together, such as the stock, the wine. So in most cases we wash the rice, but here, keep it dirty. All right, so let's get cooking. I'm going to first start by drizzling a good amount of olive oil in your paella pan.
I'll start out with one large chopped onion and fry that until the onions start to sweat.
Then we'll add in our whole spices. This is quite similar process in the beginning, which we call tempering. We're going to salt that from the beginning. We'll add in our sliced garlic, and that is pretty much a whole bulb.
You want to fry until your garlic is cooked through, add in turmeric, then paprika, and mix thoroughly.
So now is a good time to add in the tomatoes. So once you add the tomatoes in, you want to cook that down up until the point that a lot of the water comes out of the tomatoes. So what I've done here is basically created my own sofrito, which is the base of the paella. So now that we have cooked most of the tomatoes down, or all of them, I'm going to add in the paella rice. I want to give it a good toast amongst all the other spices and ingredients. So make sure, you really love this paella. You dance with it, you work with it. Don't rush anything in life. Take your time, especially my paella. I'm watching you. Now I'm going to add in the Spanish saffron, and I wait towards the end of the rice roasting process because I want to keep that sort of fresh and alive. So at this point I feel like it's been adequately toasted, and we're going to sort of do a deglazing with some medium-bodied Chardonnay. What is cooking the rice essentially is wine and stock, and if you look at my prawn curry video that I recently posted up, I did a beautiful seafood stock, and that's exactly the stock that I'm using here today. And now I'm going to be adding in that lovely prawn stock, and you just want to cover the rice. So what I'm doing is making sure that I cook this paella rice mostly all the way cooked, but not quite. I want it to have just that bit of bite, so that way when I'm cooking the seafood, the rice will cook just on time. So that's something that you need to be cognizant about, and always watching the rice, how much you're cooking it, because that seafood really just cooks in a flash. At the moment it's having a pretty good rumble. I'm going to add in the chili pieces, adding to that Sri Lankan twist. So time-wise, I would say I've been sweating over this hot stove for about 10 to 15 minutes. And now is a good time to add in the prawn heads. And it's time for the prawns to go in as well. Now we'll turn down the flame. And this is going to take a little bit longer to cook than the scallops and squid that I have. So these are going in first. Okay, so these have been in here for about 3 minutes, and now I'm going to nestle in the scallops and the squid. So for the perimeter of the paella, I have adorned the sides with fully cooked mussels. Now obviously if you're starting out with raw mussels, you want to integrate that in the sauce and rice on the onset. So right now it's on a medium-low heat. I want everything to simmer together and I don't want to overcook the seafood that I've just added. So I have it lightly covered on the top so all the seafood can get steamed adequately. And on the sides, you just want to pinch it so that no air escapes. So I'm going to cook this for about 15 minutes or until the stock and the liquid has been absorbed. I want to open up the foil, but we're just not there yet because what do I want? I want sukarat. And what is sukarat? Sukarat is that crusty layer on the bottom that adds in that extra bit of flavor. Towards the end of this step, I'm going to be adding in some frozen peas. I like that bit of color and pop and texture. Well, the paella is done. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to eat this. I'm going to finish it off with a little saffron butter that I just whipped up. It's time for my favorite part. I feel like Spain is right here on my doorstep. With the saffron, different bits of curry leaves, the green chilies, the butter that I finished it off with at the end. It surely is something spectacular. And I'm getting ready for my paella party. And I hope you guys will subscribe and make this recipe and tell me how it turned out. I know you're going to love it. The word today is sukarat, the crispy, crusty bottom of the pan in a paella dish that gets caramelized.